Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone around the world. I am Paul Sisler, and this is In the Moment. Hello, hello, hello. I tell you, I'm no longer on Twitter. I know I've said this a few times, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it and all that. I got hacked, and I do not plan on going back. So you can find me on Threads, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm everywhere else except X, which I'm probably not going back. No, I don't think so. Anyways, I got more time. I'm enjoying life. I was spending 12 hours a day on there. So I am enjoying the silence of X. Anyways, we have a wonderful show for you today. Democratic philosophy is going to break it down, the GOP and everything that is going on. I tell you, it is quite a conundrum. And to help me with that is going to be the host of Democratic Philosophy, Jeremy Baker. Hello.
What's going on, man? This is going to be a good episode. There's so much going on. It's hard to keep track of everything.
I tell you. You know, all the indictments, all the co-conspirators, everything that's going on. It's unbelievable. The chaos in the House, just so many things. I tell you, it's blowing me away. It's truly blowing me away. And remember, when we did an episode, I think we did it on, I can't remember if it was here or if it was on another podcast that we were doing and all that. If you remember, I told you Scott Hall would probably be the first one to flip. I nailed it. And I said, one of the next ones to flip is going to be a lawyer. It's either going to be Chesborough, it's going to be Powell, or it's going to be Giuliani, because one of them is going to come to the table and bring the goods. And guess what? I nailed it. It was Sidney Powell.
Powell. And I think it was intentional too, because her and Chesborough, as I like them, they both requested the speedy trial, right? So they really wanted to be at the front of the line in order to, I think, implement this. I mean, I'm pretty sure this was the whole plan by them this whole time, because they're both well-established attorneys. They're not idiots. I mean, in some respects, yes, I think they are, but they're not morons. They know the law. Both of them are lawyers. You know what I mean? So they both, to the last minute, and I mean, damn, they both got probation. There's people in this country going to jail for voting twice. You know what I mean? For voter fraud. And these guys got probation, no jail time whatsoever. So I guarantee they spilled and everybody's also got to keep in mind, they have to tell the truth or this whole deal gets revoked from here on out.
Which then they go to prison.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that probation becomes prison for them.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's like they're getting off easy. They got to bring the receipts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm let's just say that. Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, first of all, let's start with Sidney Powell. Let's go ahead and show the clip first. You got it?
Yep, I'll play it.
All right. Ms. Powell, I just have a few questions for you. Do you understand the nature of the charges that have been reaccused and that you would be pleading guilty to today?
I do, sir.
And you've heard all the rights that the state has gone through that you would waive by going forward with this plea. Do you still wish to waive those rights?
I do.
And are you pleading guilty today because you agree that there is a sufficient factual basis, that there are enough facts that support this plea of guilty?
I do.
Mr. Rafferty, are you satisfied your client is competent in understanding that the plea is voluntary and that there is a sufficient factual basis for entering this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
I agree and find that there is a sufficient factual basis, and I find this plea of guilty to be knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered. There's been a request that this sentence be entered under the First Offender Act, and the court will approve that request, withhold adjudication. But I must notify you, Ms. Powell, that you are not allowed to withdraw your plea simply because you do not comply with the terms of the sentence.
Okay. Now, first, for people that don't understand law, when you take a plea, you don't get to appeal.
Yeah.
Okay. When you go to trial, and if you're found guilty, you get to appeal. When you take a plea, You do not get to appeal that decision. You don't get to take it to a higher court, and you don't get to go through it. Once it's set, that is it.
And once you get a deal like this, it's not like they just gave him a deal without proof.
Right.
They have proof, or they never would have got probation. They would have got jail time.
Well, you got to remember, Sidney Powell is an excellent attorney. Okay. You may not like what she did and what she stands for, but do know she knows the law, and she is one hell of an attorney. So for her to take a plea, I really want people to think about this. For her to take a plea, she has seen the evidence against her. She knows she would have been convicted. On RICO, she is going to take 5 years on a guilty, okay?
Yeah.
And that's not counting the other one. So she was looking at probably 20, maybe 30 years. And she knew she would be convicted.
Well, they showed her all the evidence against her. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not like it's secret. They displayed everything. Look, this is what we have on you. Here are your options.
Right.
Either go to jail like a dumbass for somebody who's going to ditch you the first chance they get, or you can go home. All you got to do is talk. Pretty easy option. Both of them are in, I mean, they're not, I want to say advanced age. I mean, but they're up there in years. So this could have been a death sentence or a life sentence, at least for both of them. So, I mean, I think they were working on this from day one. That's why they requested the speedy trial. In the eyes of the public, I think they were saying, yeah, we're holding out. But behind the scenes, they've been working this deal from the start, I think. Oh, they're not dumb. Like you said, neither one of them is dumb. I mean, they're not idiots. They're not,
well, they were definitely working it from the beginning, because the reason why they were working it from the beginning is because you don't get to go in as the defendant and say, I'm going to give you a plea deal, and this is what I'm going to do. Okay. And the prosecution goes, okay. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Okay. There are terms to a plea. And when you're given that plea, when you're presenting a plea and then you're given a counter plea, and you're working out that deal, there are things that you got to, now, again, she's got 6 years probation on 5 or 6 counts. I forget what it was. This should have brought her 10, 15, 20 years.
Exactly.
Okay. So she has to bring the receipts. In other words, she needs emails. She needs recordings. She needs video. She needs things that can be substantiated. Because you got to remember, she is not a credible witness.
Well, yeah. And I mean, yeah, I guess in some regards she's not. I mean, how she tried to overturn the election. I mean, how credible could she possibly be at this point? But against Donald Trump, though, she knows where all the bodies are buried, and so does Ken Chesebro. You know what I mean? So these guys, these are two critical pieces of the Donald Trump Jenga. And I think it's about to topple over. They're like the two critical components. And like you said, we were going to race to see who got there first. And it was Sidney Powell was not dumb. I mean, because they were going to throw her under the bus. Everybody already, they started distancing themselves after she started saying some crazy shit. And they were she knew it. They were going to drive the bus right over her, put it in reverse and drive it over again. And blame everything on her. So she's like, you know what? You're not screwing me over. And she got she's the prize winner, I think. She's the smartest one, I think, for going first. For making the first deal.
Right. Well, the first attorney who had Trump's ear, you got Scott Hall actually went first.
Right. I mean, like, as far as like the top, say like the top 5 or 6.
Top
you know
echelon,
I mean?
yes.
Right.
Now, here's the beauty of this. Everything that she's bringing to testify against all the other co-conspirators, all the other okay. That in itself, because she went first, now she has all the receipts that she says, I can bring this, I can bring this, I can bring this. This is what I can use. This is what I can say. This is what I can show you. Number 2 in line has to bring something that number 1 didn't bring, or number 2's not going to get the deal.
Well,
so let's go to number 2.
Yeah, Chesborough. Well, let's keep in mind he was the architect behind the fake elector scheme. So this is extremely big.
Yes.
So let's play his video.
Do you understand that this is a negotiated plea, which means your attorneys and the state have reached a negotiated recommendation to make to the court?
I do.
Do you understand that the court is not bound by that recommendation and could sentence you to the maximum penalty for the charges?
I do.
Do you understand that the recommendation in this particular case, as to count 15, conspiracy to commit filing false documents, is 5 years to be served on probation, a $5,000 fine, and that I believe you're asking the court to treat you as a first offender. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry, $5,000 restitution. You understand that?
Yes.
And do you understand also special conditions of the probation is that you complete 100 hours of community service?
Yes.
And that you write an apology letter to the citizens of the state of Georgia?
It just
Which
gets better.
Yes. And that you truthfully testify at all
Here it
hearings and
is.
trials involving co-defendants in this matter? That you have no communication with co-defendants, witnesses, or the media until all cases have been resolved against all co-defendants?
Yes.
Oh man, that last part is lovely.
Yes.
Wow. And if he breaks any of those conditions, dude, you're going to be charged with everything that you admitted. Like all this stuff they admit while they're under immunity, so to speak.
Yes.
Everything they say, they're immune. So they can literally say anything under the immunity deal. But as soon as they violate that, they can actually be charged for all the shit they said during their testimony. Is that correct?
Yes. They can be recharged on a lot of these things. They can't be recharged on the things they took a plea on because that's double jeopardy. But their probation would turn into jail time.
Exactly.
Okay? But now
this is so good.
They're also, if they lie, that's perjury.
Right.
Okay. Because while they're under probation, they're still technically under oath for anything that they say. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Let's go back to Powell for a second. She specialized in federal appeals.
Right, which is high end. That's a very high end court. Yeah.
Okay. And then we got Chesborough here. He over the next 20 years, he continued to do occasional work with Lawrence Tribe, including work on Bush v. Gore to support Vice President Gore. I mean, Chesborough, up until 2016, was a Democrat.
And right, and they both had decorated careers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing. Like we always say, the rabbit hole, man. The rabbit hole sucks people in. It's like a vacuum.
Right.
Once they go down that hole, good riddance.
Yeah.
You're never coming back.
Chesborough was also a top-notch attorney.
Yeah.
And he's taken a plea.
Exactly. You know, and right, they had to know, like, we are so screwed in order to take a plea like this. And in order to let's not beat around the bush. In order to get just probation for what they attempted to do, they literally attempted to overthrow democracy, and they only got probation. So I guarantee they dropped some serious bombs that we have not even begun to hear about yet. And I've been looking for Donald Trump's reaction on Truth Social. So far, I haven't seen much about these two flipping, but I can't wait. It's going to be a nuclear meltdown. I mean, this guy is already losing his mind over the civil case.
Yes.
He's about to turn his civil case into a criminal case.
Yeah. And remember, Chesborough is bringing stuff that Powell isn't.
Well, Chesborough was the one who constructed the entire, like, he was the architect of the fake elector scheme. Like, he knows everything because he created it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And who did they report to? There's only a couple people above them on an indictment list. And there's Giuliani, one other guy. There's like the top five. These three are in the top five.
Yeah.
Or there's Trump, Giuliani, then Chesborough, then somebody else I can't remember. And then it was Sidney Powell. So 3 out of the top 5 have already fallen. You know, I can't believe Giuliani should be running for a plea deal at this point. That guy's got more problems than anybody else.
Well, and he's again, for him to even get a plea now, he's going to have to bring something that Powell and Chesborough is not bringing.
And I don't think he can. I think he was just a willing participant. You know, I don't understand because they left the biggest, most obvious electronic paper trail emails, text messages, recorded phone calls. I mean, it wasn't like they even were secretive about this. I felt like it's like they thought they were going to get away with it, so they didn't even hide any of the trail.
Right. And here's something else to remember. An attorney will tell you to never take a plea unless the evidence is so overwhelming that there's
Right.
a 0% chance of escaping justice.
I think it's safe to say at this point that Donald Trump's chances of not going to prison went from slim to almost none at this point in this case. Now, this case is going to be televised too, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right? The Georgia one is.
Yeah,
they're trying to get the Jan 6 federal case televised. And I agree with that. A lot of the big networks like ABC and MSNBC, I agree. I think that is the biggest trial in America's history. It's the trial that determined if Donald Trump tried to overthrow democracy. I think that should be televised as well. So I hope that goes through. But I can't wait to see when Powell and Chesbrough testify against Donald Trump and Giuliani. It's going to be Trump is freaking out now in a civil case, popping in hand, making a big throwing fits and stuff. Can you imagine when he gets to his criminal cases?
I know.
And he's gonna have a meltdown.
There's a reason why the defense doesn't want this televised, because they already know the evidence against them.
Right.
And when that evidence comes out, it's going to show how big of a liar Donald Trump truly is.
Oh. We already see it. You know, the problem with this whole situation that pisses me off, it doesn't matter to the Trump supporters. They were so all in on this guy. You could literally show them a video of him handing nuclear secrets to Russia, and they'd be like, F it. We love the guy. You know what I mean? That's how they are. It has turned into a cult. It really has turned into a cult. And I like to remind everybody, and I think this is what I think is going to happen. Okay, I'm trying to predict something here. I've been thinking about this long and hard, and I think once Trump goes down, because Trump is going to go down one way, shape, or form, whether it's financially or criminally, he's going down. And with any cult, once the cult leader is gone, there's no backup plan to Trump. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's ever talked about a successor to Trump. So what'll happen probably is they'll break off into little factions, and we're gonna have to deal with little factions of MAGA idiots for decades to come. They're all gonna rally because they hate each other too. They can't agree on a damn thing. I think the second half of our episode is gonna prove that the GOP can't agree on a thing. You know what I mean? So I think that's what's gonna happen. Donald Trump's gonna get jailed or bankrupt, or just hopefully he's on welfare by the end of this, and so he knows what it feels like.
Right.
And I think that after that, nobody's going to know what to do because everybody's trying to rally behind Trump.
Right. You're lagging a little bit there.
Oh, am I really? I'm sorry. Yeah, my internet's a little slow. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. The other thing to think about too and all that, because you brought up how, Trump could hand somebody documents and all that, and they still wouldn't pay attention. Here's the thing. I watched this thing with Jordan Klepper, and he was talking to a guy and all that about the foreign money that the children of the president were receiving and stuff like that. And the guy's like, yeah, they need to go to jail. And he goes, so you believe that Trump and Ivanka and Jared should go to jail? No, the Bidens. And he goes, right. It's Trump's children that took the money from Saudi Arabia, not Biden's children. And he's just like, well, no, Biden needs to go to jail. And it's like, so Trump and his family are okay with it, but not the Bidens. That's right.
Yeah. They want to put Hunter Biden in jail for the tax thing and the gun, purchasing of the gun. They want to throw the book at him for that. And these two people, Chesbrough and Powell, try to overthrow democracy and create fake electors to get Donald Trump into power, and they just got probation. So I think we can let Hunter Biden go on that one. I think that's stupid.
Right, but the point that I'm trying to make here is when you're talking about the cult mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
The person that they follow, it doesn't matter what they do wrong. It's not wrong if they're doing it.
Exactly.
And if anybody else is doing it, then it's wrong. So that's where the mentality has gone. So you're right. There's no convincing them. You're absolutely right. But people that are actually still thinking logically, when they start to see this, they're going to get it. And then, like you said, Trump himself, when these things come to hit Trump, he's not going to be able to take it. He can't even handle this civil trial.
No, he's having a meltdown.
Yeah.
He's already losing his mind. I mean, he really is. The guy's like a petulant child on his social media platform. I think the other day he posted like 51 posts in a matter of 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then what he'll do is he'll type an entire long post in all capital letters, and then he'll turn around and make a video and just read the post. And it's so stupid. It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah. Since your internet's lagging a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and run the third one here. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
The only way they can catch me is to stop me from speaking. They want to take away my voice. And a judge gave a gag order today. Did you hear that on speech? Which I believe is totally unconstitutional, what she did. A judge gave a gag order. A judge doesn't like me too much. Her whole life is not liking me. But she gave a gag order. You know what a gag order is? You can't speak badly about your opponent. But this is weaponry all being done because Joe Biden is losing the election and losing very, very badly to all of us in the polls. He's losing badly. But what they don't understand is that I am willing to go to jail if that's what it takes for our country to win and become a democracy again.
Oh, my God, this guy.
And go to jail he
The
will.
only way they can...
Sorry. Stop clicking the same button as me.
Judge,
got it? You removed it?
I got it.
Which I...
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Jesus.
All right. Here's the thing about the First Amendment. I hear people saying, you're trampling on my freedom of speech. Okay. People, for some reason, believe you can say anything, anywhere, anytime, and that's what you're granted by the freedom of speech. No.
Mm-hmm.
No. You do have an unabridged freedom of speech, but only speech that is covered by that freedom.
Right.
Otherwise, that speech is abridged. We have a thing called perjury. You can't lie on the stand.
Yeah.
If you lie on the stand, you can go to jail. But somebody that says, I have complete freedom of speech, I can lie if I want to. You're abridging my freedom. Lying on the stand is not covered by the First Amendment.
Right.
It's not a protected speech. Neither is defamation. Okay? Neither is slander. These are not protected speeches.
Right.
Going out, if I wanted to go out in the middle of the street and crucify my neighbor on a cross and stand it up as my freedom of expression,
Right.
if freedom of speech was unabridged, I'd be able to do it.
Right.
And you wouldn't be able to do anything to me because it's my freedom of speech. But what about the person you're crucifying? They can complain all they want. They have that freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The thing.
People do not understand what freedom of speech actually is and what speech is protected. Trump getting a gag order is not a violation of his freedom of speech because what he's doing is criminal and that's not protected by freedom of speech. So gagging him is not a violation.
Mm-hmm. No, and I mean, like a large-scale conspiracy, it requires you to talk to one another in order to create the crime or to create the conspiracy. So all crimes basically require some form of speech. So it's like you want to run up to somebody and go, give me all your money. And they go, wow, First Amendment. This is stupid. The whole case is dumb. Like their defense, what their defense is. That's what Donald Trump complains about. I'm not allowed to talk about my enemies. Well, you know what? He effed around and found out because he violated one of the gag orders already up in New York. And that's what I was talking about earlier. He's going to turn his civil trial into a criminal trial. And it was Midas Touch Network that actually was the ones that found out, which I give him a lot of credit for. Ron Filipkowski, I believe their editor-in-chief. they were supposed to take a post down that had the address, and it was spreading lies about the law clerk for Judge Goron. Right. So they took it off of Truth Social, but he didn't take it off of Donald Trump's website, and nobody really looked into it. But then the Midas Touch Network found out, broke the story, and Judge Goron was not happy. He's been sanctioned $5,000 already. So the next step is either contempt of court, or he might go to jail on a civil trial.
Yes. And I just wanted to clarify: a civil trial cannot turn into a criminal trial.
No, but criminal charges can come out of it.
Criminal charges can come out of it. Absolutely.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I know. Just wanted to clarify. I don't want people.
No, that's good to clarify. Absolutely.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? And it's just so crazy that this is the case that's having him. He's had a meltdown on every single case, but this is funny to watch him completely lose his mind over the one case that has no jail time associated with it. Right. He's more worried about his money and his image than he is actually going to prison, man. That's crazy. That's narcissism at its finest right there.
Right. Though I do believe he will be found guilty, I do not believe he will be going to prison. I believe that he will flee the country.
I do too. We said that for like a year now. I still think he's going to run. I think he's
he's
got to be closer.
He's going to run to Mother Russia or Mother China, both of his homelands. I mean, that's
but there's a snag. He still has Secret Service that works there with him, and they don't work for Donald Trump. They work for the United States government. So I'm pretty sure they've been told, keep an eye on that bastard. You know what I mean? Because they don't report to Donald Trump. I mean, they do, but the final thing is they work for the government, not Donald Trump. And, it's crazy to me how this guy, like the fraud case is just staggering the amount of evidence against him. I mean, that's why they gave a summary judgment on the fraud part of it, because it was so overwhelming. It's just amazing how this guy would add a almost like a premium just for being Donald Trump. He's like, I own it now. So now because I own it, it's worth more money. Like he keeps saying Mar-a-Lago is worth $1.5 billion. And what reality? It's the best property in the world and the most luxurious property. Everything is the best in the world with this guy.
Right. Now, I'm just going to let our audience know. I'm going to remind our audience. I'm an independent. All right. Jeremy is a Democrat. I'm an independent.
Yes, now. I used to be an independent, but after this last couple of years, I've changed my mind.
Yes, but what I want people to know, as an independent, if Joe Biden were committing these crimes, I would also want him behind bars.
Absolutely.
Okay? So when I'm in here trashing on Trump, it's because Trump is a criminal. Period. He is a criminal. I don't care if you like him or not. He's a criminal, and he deserves to be behind bars. Yes. Period. And the people that are getting caught, which, again, Sidney Powell just took a plea, people. Kenneth Chesbro just took a plea, people. So, Giuliani, you're going to take the plea, or are you going to go to the trial and have all these, and have Powell and Chesbro speak against you and put you behind bars? I hope Giuliani is stubborn, because I want to see that trial. I want to see the stuff come out that everybody can hear what actually happened, and then Giuliani can spend the rest of his life behind bars. Because personally, I think Powell deserves to be behind bars, and so does Chesbro, because they are guilty.
Yeah, they are, and they admitted it. They're a judge now. They admitted it. We are guilty. We did it. That's what the world should see with that guilty plea. We did it. We committed that crime. We are saying that we did it. We're guilty, and we're just bailing out before. I don't know if Giuliani even has an option on the table at this point. I think he's a little late to the game, because Sidney Powell and Ken Chesbro, I'm sure, can cover most of the evidence they need in order to put those two away. Maybe Giuliani's not even he could be the other sacrificial lamb here.
He's going to have documentation. He's going to have recordings. He's going to have something that Chesbro and Powell do not have.
I don't think he does. I think he was right there neck to neck with Donald Trump trying to commit these things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think Giuliani is just as complicit as Donald Trump. I can't believe these are all lawyers, college-educated adults.
Yeah.
And trying to just completely redo our government. It's unbelievable. And they almost got away with it. That's the scary part. They got so close to, and
they're not
defending the Constitution.
And those that are trying to still do it are still continuing to overturn our government.
Right. Like I said before, the insurrection is still ongoing. January 6th was just the beginning of it.
Which brings us to Congress.
Yay.
What a debacle there.
I have listened to all 3 vote counts. I can't believe I'm 47 years old. Now, I remind everybody, I used to hate politics up until 3 years ago. I did not give a shit about anything political. I didn't even watch news at all. I didn't care what was going on in the world. I really did not. I had enough trouble in my life that I didn't give a shit about anybody else's problems at that point. But now that I'm involved, wow, what a mess. And I listened to all 3 of the vote counts, and it got worse and worse every single time. Let me play this first video here. Oh, it's a nightmare.
You'll never guess what happened next.
The total number of votes cast is 429, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 194. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 210.
It's such a funny recurring bit the Democrats do at all these votes when they have more votes than the person they want and they all cheer. So as you can see, Jim Jordan lost again, and yet again he lost by an even larger margin, with more of his colleagues voting against him this time than the previous time, which was more than the previous time.
So he had 200 votes the first round, 199, I believe, in the second round, and 194 in the third round. And for some reason, this jackass's strategy to rally more people to vote for him was to have people threaten their wives of the holdouts. Like, this is real shit happening. And these are grown-ass people that can't even make a decision on who's going to lead 200 and some odd people. That's the small group. You know what I mean? And I think the example is right in front of us. Okay, the Republican Party is broken. Obviously, the House GOP is completely in shambles. While at the same time, you've got the other half of the aisle standing as one, united behind Hakeem Jeffries, ready to do business. All they're waiting for is the freaking Republicans to get their shit together. That's all they're waiting on. And they keep saying it. We're ready to govern. We've been ready to govern for the last 9 months. We're just waiting for some rational people to come to the table.
If this was about trying to get certain bills put out on the floor that would actually help the American people, I would be supporting this chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
I would be supporting this because this is how it's supposed to work. We're not supposed to have a groupthink mentality. Okay. Mm-hmm. We're not supposed to stand in unity if we have mixed messages on how people should be given rights. Okay. So if you're going to hold out because you want certain things put up on the floor so that everybody can vote on them and go on record so the people can decide who they're going to vote for in the next election, I would be all for it. In other words, if the Democrats were doing this because they wanted to get Medicare for all on the ballot, to be up there for the people to vote on, and they were holding out for something like that, I would be supporting it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
the opposite.
But this chaos that's ensuing in Congress right now is not about the people. It's about certain personalities wanting to get clicks and likes and to cause disruption for no other reason other than to show their supporters that this is what we stand for. We stand for racism and bigotry and misogyny. We want to take away that freedom of speech. We're going to ban books. Now, think about this. The Republicans who are out there saying, don't tread on my freedom of speech. But I'm going to tread on yours. I'm going to ban books. I'm going to be like Huckabee down there in Arkansas. You can't say these certain words.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Because I don't want to hear them. So you don't get to speak them. Your speech gets impeded, but my speech, I get to say whatever I want.
Exactly.
Hypocrisy.
Very
And
much
people,
so.
What blows me away is that there's so many people that either they are so ignorant that they don't see this and comprehend it, or they don't care because they agree with that propaganda.
Right. But their actions speak a lot louder than their words, I think, right now. And I don't think people are paying attention enough to the actions. They're just looking at the words or hearing the words and going with what they're saying, believing what they're saying. It's just amazing that we have people in our government now that openly, willingly lie to their constituents just to remain in power. I mean, look at the examples. The two people they wanted to pick. I still think they blackmailed the shit out of what's his name, the other guy that was running for Steve Scalise. They just let it. Remember, because they started leaking shit as soon as he had the majority of votes. They started leaking stuff about him, and he's like, you know what? I don't want anything to do with this. So I'm pretty sure they blackmailed his ass into dropping out because he had the majority vote. Why would he drop out and give it to Jim Jordan? So, but Steve Scalise is bad enough. The guy describes himself as David Duke without the baggage, former leader of the KKK, if I need to remind anybody. No. And then Jim Jordan. So we got a racist asshole. And then Jim Jordan, who's accomplished next to nothing in his congressional career. And I think we should point this out because we did talk about this. Everybody said that Jim Jordan has passed nothing since he's been in Congress. We actually found one bill that was passed and signed into law. So we did find one, Jim Jordan. But even in 17 years in Congress, he's had one law where one bill go into law. That's pathetic to me. And the worst part, man, if you watch the beginning of the third vote, when they were talking and introducing Jim Jordan, they actually said, and Democrats laughed, that they called him an effective legislator. How? Come on, man. The guy hasn't done anything in his professional career. He's an actual, he's like a political assassin.
Okay. I'm going to point something else out. Now, you mentioned Jordan, 16 years, 20-some bills. He's only sponsored 20-some bills. Lauren Boebert, in her, 2 terms, has sponsored over 80. Now, granted, they're not the best bills.
No.
But at least she is presenting legislation.
Yeah, something.
Okay. And you got to go to congress.gov and look at what she's proposing.
I wish everybody, I know some of that stuff
I
is
want to
insane.
change
What was the one?
I want to change the and to a semicolon.
Oh, that one. What was the other one? The Truth in Science, or what the hell was it called? Oh
Truth in Science Act or Trust in Science Act.
My
Lord, we want to remove the gray wolf from the protected species.
Yeah, so we can hunt them.
Yeah, so we can shoot them. I got guns. I want to go shoot the gray wolf.
So Jim Jordan has been paid almost $200,000 a year for the last. Well, it's changed obviously. So again, a free ride, government pay, government benefits. I'm sure they get a government vehicle, all the perks and all that stuff that goes with being in Congress for the last 16 years and hasn't done a damn thing but cause problems. And that is who, and this is not even talking about his past, which with his coaching history, what I don't even want to get into because it's disgusting. And I can't believe they support somebody like this. You know what I mean? And they voted for somebody like this. How does this guy continue? Well, you know what, though? I found out his district, they gerrymandered the living shit out of his district, man. I mean,
I want you to think about this. I want you to look at all the people that actually voted for Jim Jordan. Okay. I want you to think about this because the people that are sitting in Congress, they're not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. even someone as harebrained as Lauren Boebert, she's still not okay. Not hear me out.
We're
Hear
pushing
me
it.
out. Hear me out. They may not have the highest IQs, the ability to analyze and pick the best route for things because they're self-serving interests about how they want to make things for them. Okay. The people that voted for Jordan in relation to January 6th is where I'm taking this.
Mm-hmm.
They were either part of it in some way, shape, or form, or had knowledge of it, or was in communication about it in some fashion. They are connected to it because those that voted for Jim Jordan know he's part of January 6th.
Mm-hmm. That's the other part. I didn't even mention that. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean,
Those
had direct knowledge.
And those that voted against Jim Jordan, they are separating themselves from these actions because they also either have knowledge or were part of it in some way and decided not to partake in it. And now they don't want to be connected to it. So they are distancing themselves and they are standing by their guns.
I'm still waiting for the day we get indictments for some of these people that were involved, because we know for a fact that, a lot of the people that are, not a lot, but there are some people in Congress that were involved in Jan 6th, setting it up, organize it, give it tours, telling people exactly where to go. I mean, for crying out loud, there's video. There's and they're still in Congress trying to overthrow the government from within. They still are. And it's such a slim majority that it only takes a handful of extremist Republicans, because they're not conservatives. Stop calling them. Look up the definition of conservative and tell me if MAGA is conservative. They're extremists. They're an extremist group. They're an extremist cult.
Yes. When you look at the Reagan platform, you look at even the Nixon platform, you look at the platform that Ford, when he took over for Nixon, the platform that he had, even George Bush Sr., you look at what they stood for, whether you agree with their policies or not. They still had values that they tried to put forth in trying to do better for the country, for the people of the country. Now, I can go through all the presidents and tell you how they were bad for the country on both sides of the aisle. Okay, I can tell you all the bad things that Barack Obama did, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, and the how they hurt the people more than they helped. Okay, but they also did a lot of things that they tried to actually help the people, both sides of the aisle. Since Trump, the people that truly want to take away rights, that truly want a white nationalist country, that are for that white nationalism, that Christian fascism, they are stepping forward because this is their last move.
Yeah.
They really know this is their last chance of taking over.
Yep, you're right.
Because if they don't succeed here, that party is now broken. That party has to rebuild, and that party will not hold office for the next 2-3 decades until they can rebuild. And I don't think the party is going to survive. I think you're going to have another party that's going to come in and replace them.
Yeah.
That,
well, I guess what No Labels is trying to do.
No Labels, Libertarians, the Forward Party, the Green Party, some other party is going to latch on and move into that threshold and start taking on the old conservative values and are going to try to rebuild it.
So now that Jim Jordan lost his third one, I don't know. He said he was dropping out after the second one, but still went for a third vote. But let me play this video here, because now we got a whole kinds of mess going on for GOP speaker. And I haven't even heard of half of these people.
There are so many Republicans you've likely never heard of who want to run the House of Representatives. Right now, they've all gone home for the weekend, and they're
of course.
Okay. Before we go on, let's read these names off. Representative Kevin Hearn, who voted to overturn the 2020 election. Representative Jody Arrington, who voted to overturn the 2020 election. Representative Byron Donalds voted to overturn the 2020 election. Representative Tom Emmer, he upheld the 2020 election.
There's two of them.
You know, that he might actually be someone good for the speakership.
Yeah.
Representative Austin Scott upheld 2020 election. Representative Jack Bergman voted to overturn the 2020 election. Representative Roger Williams voted to overturn the 2020 election. Representative Mike Johnson voted to overturn the 2020 election. Representative Pete Sessions voted to overturn the 2020 election. Representative Daniel Moser, I brutalized it. Sorry.
Nah, whatever.
Voted to overturn the 2020 election. Not sorry.
Not sorry.
You know, I tell you, this is scary.
Yeah.
This is scary. Of those 10, 8 of them have no place holding the gavel.
They have no place in Congress, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
All right, we play the rest of this. Ready?
Yep, go ahead.
All right.
There's an official candidate forum on Monday, so the list will likely only grow from here. And while I have to say I don't often agree with Kevin McCarthy, I must admit, he kind of hit the nail on the head today.
Unfortunately, Jim is no longer going to be the nominee. We'll have to go back to the drawing board.
Which means
What
they have no
history will
backup
look
plan.
at, the Crazy Eights led by Gates, the amount of damage they have done
I
to
like
this
that
party
title,
and to this
though.
country is insurmountable. I've never seen this amount of damage done to just a few people for their own personalities, for their own fear of what's going through. And really, it's astonishing to me. And we are in a very bad position as a
He agreed to the whole one person can vote the speaker out thing in order to get speakers. So I don't know why he's bitching and moaning now like he's a victim.
Well, he's disappointed that he got voted out for doing his job. Okay.
Right. I mean, he did the work. I mean, they were holding us hostage to the last minute. Let's not say he was actually doing his job. I think he was,
I think if he wouldn't have gotten the speakership in the way that he did, I don't think he would have held the country hostage like he did, because people like Gates wouldn't have had power over him.
Right.
Okay. So this is where, when, again, if you're actually trying to do good for the people, this is a good thing. But they're not trying to do good for the people. They're trying, again, clicks, likes, see me. Hi, I'm Matt Gates. Do you see me? Vote for me. Okay.
Exactly.
See what I can do. What was that? Mad TV and all that. Stop. See what I can do. Anyways, Stewart. There we go.
Yeah.
They are destroying the party from within, and McCarthy is disappointed in what the party has become. Again, I don't like McCarthy's policies. I don't like a lot of things that McCarthy stands for. But what I am seeing is I'm seeing a truthfulness come from McCarthy, where he is hurt because of what the party's become. And I think he finds it sickening that this is where we're going. Why couldn't we have more McCains? Yeah. I think this is what he's reflecting on. There's not, because there's people on the right. I've heard them compare Gates and Boebert and Green to McCain.
Ew.
Okay, because they're standing up for what they believe in. McCain actually stood up for the people and did what he believed in.
Mm-hmm.
These people don't believe in the people; they only believe in self.
Exactly.
There's where the difference comes in.
I have a question. I don't even know this. Can the Democratic Party nominate a Republican for Speaker of the House?
Yeah.
Or does it have to be? Can they? I wish they would just nominate Liz Cheney. They all vote for her, get like 5 Republicans, and then be over with. The Democrats could change. You know, they could literally end this right now if they wanted to by electing the right person.
I think
Hakeem Jeffries is definitely the right person to lead the Democratic Party and the House, but without the majority, this is why I'm pissed off. And I think you said this last week, and I forgot to say something about it. They're afraid to vote for Democrats because they're not going to get reelected within their district. The only reason they're not voting with the Democrat is they're worried that they're not going to have a job next reelection, because then they're going to be like, well, you voted for a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? So that's all they're worried about.
Right. Well, and if they actually did, that would give so much more power to the Democrats, and they don't want to do that.
But they just want to do good things. That's what I understand. It's not like they want to do awful things. They want to do, like, better pay, better hours, better medical. You know what I mean? Aid to Ukraine, aid to Israel, aid to Palestine. Biden went over and visited Israel lately and set up reoccurring guaranteed aid to the Palestinian people as well. So, you know what I mean? That's the stuff the Democrats are doing. What are the Republicans doing right now? They're not doing a goddamn thing. Their leader is out saying witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt. After, all this evidence has come out, they're trying to put him back into power. 8 out of those 10 people that we showed are election deniers. And let's remind everybody that the Speaker of the House is second in line to the presidency. Do you want an election denier to be president if something were to happen to the president and the vice president? I mean, seriously, this is scary. They're that close. They're still that close to power.
If Raskin and Jeffries and Pelosi and AOC and a few others would all get together with 5-6 Republicans, and they got to do is say, we're still going to nominate Hakeem Jeffries, but if you nominate Liz Cheney, and you can guarantee that you have 6 or 7 of you on board to vote for Liz Cheney, we will get the whole Democratic caucus to vote for Liz Cheney.
And I think that's still a possibility. And maybe even Mitt Romney has been talked about too. Jamie Raskin openly has been floating the idea of both of them, Mitt Romney or Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney, I just want Liz Cheney because I want to see Donald Trump's head explode, because he hates her guts. And that she would be the end of MAGA. I think if she would be Speaker of the House, MAGA would have no power at that point. They would have none, because Donald Trump has no power now. The only power he has is the puppets that he has in Congress and in the government. You know what I'm saying? So they put Liz Cheney, they're blocking all that. Oh my God, the amount of things we can get done would be amazing.
If they were to get Cheney or Romney as Speaker of the House, and then if Matt Gaetz tried to pull that, one vote, I'm having you pushed out. When it came time to vote to push out the Speaker, the Democrats would vote no. They wouldn't allow it.
Exactly.
So it won't happen. The power then would be gone. And
I'm tired. I'm tired of the Republicans blaming the Democrats for McCarthy getting kicked out. Like, how is it their fault? They had nothing to do with it. They're innocent bystanders. All they did was vote for the party. You know what I'm saying? That's all they did. That's all they did.
Well, and if Matt Gaetz wouldn't have issued the motion to begin with, the Democrats wouldn't have had the option to vote on it. I mean, Republicans are the majority of the House right now, and you relied on Democrats to vote out McCarthy. You relied on that. You knew the only way that you could get McCarthy out is if the Democrats actually voted to vote him out.
I just think it's funny that Matt Gaetz wanted to get McCarthy out because McCarthy worked with the Democrats to extend the budget or to extend the government funding. Then Matt Gaetz turns around, votes him out, and then has to vote with the Democrats in order to vote him out. So the irony is just killing me. Like you just did the exact same thing that your buddy was doing that you outed him for. So, like you said before, hypocrisy, man, it's just nothing but a giant hypocrisy.
You know what I find funny? I think it's one of two things. Either Matt Gaetz knew that all the Democrats would vote McCarthy out, or I think the more likely scenario is Matt Gaetz was going to make his run for it and vote out McCarthy, knowing it wouldn't go anywhere because they don't hold a majority. Then he could say, I tried to vote him out, you see? But the other Republicans wouldn't do it, so you need to get more Republicans like us in the House. I think that was his goal. And it backfired.
Big time.
Because the Democrats voted with him on that. And that, I think, shocked him. I don't think he truly thought it was going to happen. Kind of like Trump when he won the presidency. He didn't really believe it was going to happen.
Yeah, it never should have happened, man. Look at what happened to all that one vote. This is why voting is important. Look at our country. I mean, Biden, I think, is doing a fantastic job of trying to make things better, but we still have to deal with MAGA and Trump in the government still. Because, I mean, let's be honest, they take their orders still from Trump. I mean, that's why we're in a mess we are in, because of Trump.
Right.
They take he's the leader.
You know, though, as much as it's a bad thing, it's also a good thing. Because it wakes people up. It shows people how corrupted our government has become.
Yeah, it really is.
It shows how far we have fallen as a nation and how far we have to go to bring it back to something, you know, that's not laughed at by the rest of the world.
I know.
We have a long ways to go. You know, a lot of people talk about how great our country is. We're number one in incarcerations, okay? So we have the most criminal nation in the world when you really think about it. Okay? If that's your bragging right, then I guess more power to you.
Oh, we also are the number one. We take more prescription medication than anybody else in the world. So we're the most drugged country on planet Earth.
Other countries have surpassed us. We have other countries that people get health care. People are taken care of by their government. People are given time off from work, paid sick leave. A couple, they decide to have a child, they get paid while they're, for the 9 months that they're gone from work, so that they can bring that child up and raise it and everything, and then they can go back to work, and the government provides them a full-time nanny. I mean, they other countries take so much better care of their people when our country is still trying to divide the people.
I know. That's what America's always been about for the most part: division and oppression. I mean, that's our history. But yeah, I think you're right, though. I think we'll be stronger in the end as long as we vote correctly and enough people pay attention, like you said. I think our democracy is being tested, and again, we're seeing the absolute amount of corruption. So we can actually thank Donald Trump for being able to bring this out for us. Now we see it out in the open, how bad it really is. And we have a choice to do something about it. And we have the choice to do something about it in almost a little over a year now.
Yep. Do you know that most countries don't fall because of outside infiltration? They fall because of division within. It's in our Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. United we stand.
Right.
Divided we fall. And I want people to think about that, because the division in this country is going to be the cause of our fall. If this country falls, it's going to be because of that division.
Yep. Unity is the key, though. I truly believe that. I don't think everybody's going to be on board, but I think there's enough people we could unite to make a difference, a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I want the people that support Trump, I want them to think about this. If you come back into power, and you make this a white nationalist Christian nation, and you start taking away everybody's rights, and you start imprisoning people that don't agree with your evangelical white nationalism, and you start eliminating those people, all the LGBTQIA, all the different religions, all the different countries of people that come from different countries of origin, people that don't have the same skin color as you. You're only 40% of the population, if that.
Mm-hmm.
If that. Who's going to work all the jobs? Who's going to build all the cars? Who's going to build all of the, houses and everything that there is? Who's going to do all of that?
They have no plan beyond this. Like, they have no plan.
Where's the money going to come from? How are you going to do all of it? Because once you do it, you will become the weakest this country has ever been. And trust me, the people that will rise up against it and the allies that those people that are rising up against it.
Exactly.
There's no stopping it. If that's the type of war that you're thinking you're going to go into, just know that is a war you will lose.
Don't stand a chance, for crying out loud. There's no chance at all.
Us people that are Democrats and independents, I used to be a Democrat. We own guns too.
It's not going to come to that. I think there might be some scattered violence, but I don't think they got the balls to do something like that. They're not organized like that.
Yeah. Well, again, they think that the left is weak, and they just don't realize how strong the left truly is. The strong,
right. Well, because we're not out there screaming and making asses out of ourselves. We're a little more reserved because we have functioning brains, and we're not out there just Trump this, Trump that. We're not out there with Biden hats and Biden flags and putting decals on our cars.
We're out there because we love each other, while they're
Exactly.
out there trying to hate everyone. So, anyways, any closing thoughts?
No, I think we covered it all. I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and we'll be here next week.
Absolutely. Democratic philosophy. I'm telling you, it's the only way to go. All right. Thank you, everybody. And remember, be kind, be happy, and may good things come your way. Thank you.